Hi guys, today we are looking in our Purple Social Studies books and we are continuing our conversation about immigration. So let's go ahead and take a look at our book. And remember, last time we were talking about immigration and our key concept was how have immigrants added to our culture. We talked about what is an immigrant. An immigrant is a person who moves from one location to another location. So it could be somebody moving to the United States. It could be somebody moving from Germany to France or from the United States to another country. So that's what an immigrant is. And then our other key word was world, and it says the world is all the people and places on earth. And so remember, we looked at different people and we talked about where they were from and what different kinds of traditions they had and how people, as they immigrate, they bring those cultures with them. So their like of different kinds of food, clothing, dance, music, and then they are able to share that and add that to their community. So remember, we looked at all different kinds of families and people. So this is just review from our last lesson, and we talked a little bit about this place in New York called Ellis Island, where a huge amount of people came from all different countries and immigrated into the United States. So people from all over the world moving to different parts of the world. And what did they bring with them to share? So today we are looking at points of view. And so we have this young girl here, and she's dressed like a reporter. And she's asking, what do you like about having many cultures in your community? So that's what she's asking all these different people. She's interviewing them. So let's take a look at the first person she talked to, and that would be David. And he says, I can taste foods from around the world in the restaurants in my community. You know, that's true. We can definitely go to all different kinds of restaurants and taste foods from China and Russia and India are some that just come to mind when I think about them. What kinds of places do you like to eat, or maybe your family likes to eat at? Well, then our young reporter asks Mr. Fernandez, and he says, we like learning about other cultures at festivals in our community. So oftentimes in the summer, our communities, our towns, hold different events that we can go to. I'm thinking, I live close to Antioch, and in the summertime they have this thing called Taste of Antioch. And all these different food vendors come and they share what their restaurant makes. And so it's just a fun way to get to try different kinds of foods, and it doesn't cost that much. Then we have Mr. Peters, and he says, I am learning some French words from the woman who owns the French bakery in my neighborhood. So remember, not just restaurants, but different kinds of stores that people open from different countries. And what do they have to offer in their community? She's asking Mrs. Martinez. She says, artists from different cultures make murals for people in the community. You know, I live really close to Fox Lake, and I've noticed that, I'm not sure who it is, but someone goes around and paints the sides of some of the store buildings. And it's really fun to see it from the beginning to the very end. They do a great job, but it does add to the appearance of the community and the different kinds of stores and buildings. Well, then she's asking Kelsey, and Kelsey says, I love watching street performers play their special kind of music. So remember, music is something that people share as well, besides art and dance. And again, I can think of Antioch, which is close to me. They have performances all summer long that you can go for free, and you just sit out on the lawn and enjoy all different kinds of music from all different kinds of people, different kinds of styles of bands and music. It's a lot of fun. So View from the past. Robert C. Weaver, Many Cultures. The United States made a law saying that people of every culture have the right to live in any community. Robert C. Weaver's job was to make sure that people followed this new law. Now it's your turn. What cultures do you have in your community? How do different cultures make your community interesting? All right, let's take a look now. We are reading chapter 3. This is lesson 3. What to know. What can folktales tell you about cultures? So our vocabulary is the word folktale, and we've talked about that in language arts and religion. So that would be any belief that a different culture has. So here we have our title, Expressing Culture. Every culture has folktales. A folktale is a story passed from person to person. Folktales can tell about a culture's people, the places where they live, and their beliefs. So here we have this picture of a folktale. It says the name of the tree. Folktales can tell about nature. So what is that on top there? Yeah, it's a giant tortoise. Folktales can teach lessons and help you learn what people believe. Folktales can also show that cultures have different religions. A religion is a belief in a god or gods. So remember, some cultures, and we've talked about that in the Bible, like the Egyptians, who believed in a lot of different gods. Ours, we believe in just one God. So different cultures have different beliefs or a different kind of faith. Folktales can teach lessons. Folktales can tell about beliefs. So this one is 1 grain of rice. And here's another one. Chanukah and Chelm. Okay. Words, pictures, dance, and other arts are all used to tell these stories. Most folktales they've been told for many, many years, and before that, then they were written down on paper. So first, remember, we've talked about the Bible was that way as well, especially the early stories in the Old Testament, that they were passed down through generation to generation, and then thankfully someone came along and wrote them down so that everybody can read them and share in them. Well, folk tales are done in the same way. They are told for many, many years, and then somebody comes along and they actually write it down, and then it gets published, and then it's shared with everybody. It says people share their cultures through folktales. Folktales can tell about the beliefs of a culture. So here we have some Mexican puppets, and then this picture is showing dancers from Hawaii.